Hi everyone! So I'm just here today to kind of show you what my summer reading plans are kind of looking like. I'm really not a disciplined reader, and so it's really important for me to take this time off that I have this summer because I'm finishing up my undergrad and moving on to grad school in the fall. And I really want to just take this time off to sort of just get a breather because I haven't had a lot of time to like just do me. You know, I've been so busy with school for the past, 5 or 6 years and work and home and all of that. And so I haven't really had a lot of time to just like chill out. So I really wanted to just take the summer off and not have any kind of obligations and stuff like that. So anyway, I wanted to use that time instead to really start digging into my Magick because I've been neglecting it so much this semester and last semester too. So I haven't had a lot of time to really devote to that kind of stuff. So I really just want to spend the summer working on me and working on relaxing and doing some Magick and doing some lots and lots of reading because I'm not a disciplined reader in any way. And I never have been. And I really want to get to the point that I am because that's important to me. I'm a scholar, I ought to be reading all the time, So anyway, I just wanted to show off some of the books that I've been collecting over the past few months that I haven't had a chance to get around to because I've been busy, like I already said. So anyway, and these are not in any kind of order, and I'm probably not even going to get to all of them that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to try, so here we go. The first one is this. It's called The Witching Hour. It's the first book of the Mayfair Witches Chronicle, or the Mayfair Chronicles by Anne Rice. It's a huge book, and I'm very intimidated by it because I think it's like over 1,000 pages. Yeah, 1,031, 1,000... Yeah, that's a lot of pages, so I might only be able to get through part of it, and that's okay. Forgiveness, man. Learn to forgive yourself. But like I just read like a 600 page book last month, and like I got to around page 350, and because I'm such an airy-fairy, person, I am just like I get so into it at the beginning, and I get really. But I get really into it, but it takes me so long to finish because I'm a slow reader that I get bored with it because I'm just like, it's the same thing going on. Same thing, and so I might have to just take this one in chunks. I think it might be broken down into different, like, books, so hopefully I can read it in that way and I won't have to try to, digest the entire 1,037 pages all at once. I'm going to try, though. This, which, okay, I am going to say that as a witch, I am really underread. Most of the stuff that I learn is through either, like, listening to people. I'm a really, like, audio learner, and so I really like to listen to people talk. I listen to a lot of podcasts, articles because they're short, and really I just kind of I don't do a lot of book reading, and it makes me really sad. Like this is an element of my life that I have to deal with because it makes me sad that I don't read a lot. I've never been a big reader. So anyway, if a lot of these books that I'm about to show you surprise you, because I think I'm a fairly studied witch. I'm not going to say I'm really advanced or anything, but I'm above basic, I'm kind of new to actually adopting the word witch and, embracing the word magic. But I've been doing this stuff all my... Sorry, that's my dog. He's nudging me. Do you want to say hi? Can you say hi? Come here. Come here. Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing? How was your day? You got boogies in your eye. You say hi, kid. Do you see? Do you see you? You don't see you? Love you. Sorry, just like threw him off. But I'm I've been doing this stuff all my life. I just didn't have words for it, you know, and so, I mean, I'm kind of underread. So, don't judge me for not having read Starhawk Spiral Dance. You know, anyway, so Wyrd Sisters by Terry Pratchett. Most of these books are used, as you can tell, or like hand-me-downs, or I buy most of my books used because I like to own books. I don't like to borrow books and give them back to people. I like to actually be able to say, okay, I've read this, I'm going to put it on my shelf. I can come back to it later, you know, when I get finished or whatever. And I don't like to have to give books back to the library or other people or whatever, so I really like to own books, and books are expensive, so cheap, used books for like 50 cents, $2. It's good, you know. So anyway, Wyrd Sisters by Terry Pratchett. I have not read a lot. I've read one book by Terry Pratchett. Don't judge me. Speaking with Nature by Sandra, Ingerman, and Llyn Roberts. I've already read part of this book. I didn't get very far into it, but I really liked it, and it's really mostly like shamanism, which I'm kind of into. I'm not gonna say I am a shaman, but I think it's really cool. It's really beautiful. So things I'm into. I found this book today. I went to, you can't see it because of the light. I went to Hastings, and Hastings is really expensive. Like, to sell used books, they're really expensive, and I don't dig that. We actually don't have a Hastings, like, in Little Rock, but then I found one in Benton, which is, you know, a couple towns outside of Little Rock, and I drive through Benton on my way home from Little Rock to go back to Hot Springs, and so I was like, okay, there's a bookstore, a used bookstore on my way home from school, and that's awesome. I think that's great because I like used books because they're cheap. So I go in, and every time I go in there to look for a used book of a specific, like, if I were looking for this book, they wouldn't have it. You know what I mean? It's always like books that I'm not looking for that they have used ones in. And even their used ones, their used books are like $8 or $9. And I'm like, but it's used. You know, what's the point in buying used books if you're still paying, you know, $10 for it? But anyway, this one was on the clearance rack. Oh, clearance. And it's called Witches on the Road Tonight. I've never heard of it, but I was looking for a book from a book club, which I didn't find. I found it, but it was full price, brand new, $17, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying $17 for a book. If it's a good book, if it's a book that has a lot of scholarly information that's credible and backed up, sure, I'll pay that much. If it's a hardback, I'll pay $17 for it, you know? But it's a paperback. I don't even know if I'm going to like the book. I'm not paying $17 for it. But anyway, so this one is called Witches on the Road. I don't know anything about it except that the author is a winner of an Independent Publisher Book Award gold medal for literary fiction. And the cover of it looks kind of interesting. And so I was like, well, I'm looking for books on witches right now, so maybe I'll get it. And it's pretty short, so I like that. Definitely going to check this one out. I hope it's really, really good. I didn't even look it up on Goodreads before I bought it. Oh, actually, it was on the clearance thing, and it had a tag on the back that says $6.99. And I was like, okay, I'll pay $7 for this. I guess, you know, because I didn't find the book that I wanted. Yeah, I'll pay $7 for this one. So I take it up to the register along with another book that I found that was used. And turns out, since this one's on clearance, $6.99 was not the clearance price. It was the used price. And 69 cents was how much I paid for this book. Which tickles me to death because, you know, I'm cheap. I'm poor and I'm cheap. This one is the other book that I found at Hastings today called The Chalice and the Blade. And I've been told by Deb Bowen. I mean, she didn't tell me personally, but this on her recommended reading list, I think. When I saw the book, I was like, oh, I think someone has recommended that to me. But I opened the book and it says something about Aphrodite, so I'm pretty sure this is the right book. And the Chalice and the Blade, that sounds super witchy. Okay. And I don't think it's actually about witches. I think it's more about, like, ancient religions and how they sort of form society today and stuff like that. I got it anyway. It was $8 used, so, you know. SARK, which I haven't read anything by SARK, but the art in it is, I'm so tickled about the way, like, her medium of actually writing. Like, look at this. It's not all in color, but, like, there are some pages that are, like, have been done in color, and that just tickles me to death, and I think it's so cute. Like, look at this painting. Like, that's beautiful to me, and I am really into color. I'm really into art and creativity, and that's a big part of my, like, magical practice, is doing those sort of expression type things. I'm a writer, and so in writing, there a lot of times it's kind of black and white, and it gets kind of boring. So having something like this tickles me to death, and I'm so in love with this woman already just because of the way that she presents her book. And I've read some little excerpts, and it's sort of self-helpy, and it's like painting. Painting is playing with color and stuff like that, and, like, I think that that's just really cool. I mean, I feel like most of the stuff that's in here, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, but there are probably going to be some, like, real gems that are going to inspire me. So, anyway, so this one called Succulent Wild Woman by SARK, Dancing with Your Wonderful Self. And, anyway, I think I'm going to really like it. She has some other books, too. Anyway, that's a bestseller, by the way. I should have read that for my best-selling nonfiction class. Next book is DJ Conway. I literally have never picked up a DJ Conway book because I always got this sort of, like, feeling of, like, it's a... I always thought, number one, I always thought she was a man. And I always got a little bit, just by the look, I've never opened up a book of hers or anything like that. But just, like, in the bookstores and stuff, I've always gotten this sort of, like, maybe dogmatic sense about her, or maybe just, like, a far, like, okay, so different witches have different ideas of, like, what reality consists of and everything, and some people, and I'm not dissing this or anything, it's just not the way that I do things. A lot of people have, like, a really, like, fantastical way of going about their magic, and that's kind of the sense that I got from this. But I was just like, you know, I really like working with animals in my magic, and so, like, why not get this book on animal magic? Because she has apparently a totally different take on it than Ted Andrews, who does a lot of, like, Native American kind of stuff, and so I got this book. And this is really more of a reference book. It's not something that you would read from cover to cover, although I did read Animal Speak by Ted Andrews. I did read that one from cover to cover fairly quickly. It's a kind of bulky book, but because of the way that it was formatted, it was pretty easy for me to just read through. And it only took me, like, maybe 2 days or something. So, anyway, this is called The Spiral Dance, which every single witch in the world has read except me. And it's by Starhawk, and I think that I'm really gonna like this book, but at the same time I'm a little bit like, is this too out there for me? I don't know, because I have to read it, and I haven't read it yet. And this next book is not about magic, I don't think. It's more of a historical fiction / nonfiction book. It's called The Six Witches of Salem. The untold story of the accused and their accusers in the Salem Witch Trials by Marilynne K. Roach. And I just thought, actually, after I bought this, I didn't actually buy this book, it was gifted to me, but I got interested in this book around the time that I watched Salem, the show, the first season. I don't know if they have new seasons on Netflix, but anyway, and I really, like, as bad of a light as they put witches in that show, I really liked the show, so what can you do? Anyway, so I got that and I wanted to read it. Might not get to that one because history is not really my thing. I like studying history. I don't like reading about history. So, you know. And this book I've had forever and ever, but it's really important to me to read it, and it might take me a few years to read it, as I've heard it does with a lot of people. But anyway, so Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths, and the Stories of Wild Women Archetype. I really resonate with the Wild Woman archetype. It's kind of Artemis-y, and I'm not I don't follow Artemis, but like if I had to choose like a god or goddess to work with, I think Artemis is like totally badass, and I think that would be a really because I'm young. I think I kind of have this idea. I mean, I don't know that I actually want to do it, but the idea is that, you know, like over the course of my life, I work with different goddesses, or maybe different archetypes, or whatever it is. And obviously that would be true. I work with different archetypes over the course of my life. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if I adopted the practice of worshiping a certain deity, like whatever part of my life that I'm in right now, like right now I would totally be like the maiden, you know, from like Maiden Mother Crone type thing. Like I don't have children, I'm not old, you know. No offense to old people. Old people are cool. Old's not a bad word. But anyway, I'm relatively young, you know. I'm still underneath the first quarter, you know. I haven't passed my quarter life yet or anything like that, and so maybe just adopting these different goddesses, or gods, I guess. Not really a big fan of gods because they kind of weird me out a little bit, and I don't know if that's just the feminist part of me, or if it might just have to do with the fact that a lot of our culture is surrounded by a masculine god, like in Christianity, and so like I don't want any part of that. And so maybe that's why the idea of worshiping like a male god just kind of skeeves me out. But anyway, that's all of my books that I wanted to show you guys. Probably definitely not going to get through all of them. Also, my book club is reading A Discovery of Witches, which I have not bought yet, but I plan to very, very soon because it's important that I get it and I read it because it's my book club. I literally run the book club. If I'm not reading the book, then who will, right? So anyway, and that book I was kind of interested in whenever it got onto the shelves of the bookstores. And the more that I read, like, reviews on it, the reviews say, like, oh, the author, you know, starts out really strong and then, like, it ends up dying down and, like, she goes everywhere with everything. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want. I'm not really good with fiction. I'm really good with nonfiction. I'm not very good with fiction at all. So, hopefully this summer I'll read plenty more fiction books to kind of discipline myself in the reading of fiction. And there's my face. So anyway, bye. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. It's Thursday, so weekend's right around the corner. Beltane is coming up next week. So have fun with that. Bye.